do this.
Hey everybody, this is Brian, Rachel, and Ellie Goulet here for Right Time at 9, our somewhat kind of weekly broadcast that we do for the Goulet Pen Company. And we are here after canceling kind of last minute last week. Basically what had happened, sorry I have to kind of scoot in to be in the picture. What ended up happening was that we had a recording scheduled, we had topics to talk about and everything, and it was 10 minutes before the broadcast, and Ellie was just screaming bloody murder. And we had a really long, exhausting day, and we just couldn't muster up the energy to get through the broadcast. And as it turned out, Ellie was pretty upset and crying for the next several hours. So it was kind of a good call for us to cancel. Otherwise, Rachel would have been shut up with her in the bedroom, and I would have been doing the broadcast by myself, and it just would not have been very fun. So anyway, we appreciate your flexibility a lot. We really do. It's really kind of a lot for us to be able to do the broadcasts these days. Between Ellie and having to coordinate her feedings, because she's feeding every 2 to 3 hours, to have to coordinate that around the broadcast is really kind of a lot of work. But it's well worth it, especially for tonight, because we have a lot to talk about, and we really want to get a lot of information from you guys about some of the new stuff that we launched today. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into it. The Fountain of Knowledge is what everybody's buzzing about today.
Yep, that's the big release that we hinted at in the blog yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was. It's been a long process for us to get that started, and really what this has stemmed from is, as I've been blogging over the last couple of years, I've got something like, I don't know, 540 or 50 posts. I don't even really count that much anymore, but it's a lot of posts. So it makes it hard to look at old stuff that I've done and, really good referenceable stuff, but it makes it really hard to go back and find anything. We've done as good a job as we can through our blogger template to archive things as much as we can, but we're really limited in what we're able to do there, and we just haven't been happy with how hard it is to find old but good information. So what we decided was the best thing to do was to migrate a lot of the best content from Ink Nouveau and actually embed it on the Goulet Pen Company. And as soon as we started to do that, we saw this area of the website shaping up that was kind of going to become like a go-to resource for new and experienced fountain pen users alike to constantly go back to, sort of like a library, if you will. And we came up with, believe me, all kinds of different names.
It was hard because a lot of good ones were taken, Pencyclopedia or things like that. But...
yeah, Penporium and that kind of thing. So, we came up with the Fountain of Knowledge as the name, because fountain, obviously fountain pens, but you also think of a fountain as kind of just, spewing and gushing stuff out. And, that's kind of what the Fountain of Knowledge is going to be. It's just going to just spew out fountain pen related education. So that's really what the Fountain of Knowledge is all about.
We started with just what we had on Ink Nouveau, and I went through almost all the posts, and I took what was still referenceable today. So we had some old stuff like Habana versus Webby's, but since then both versions have changed, so the content isn't really relevant anymore. And I went through, and anything with prices and things, we tried to change it to be a little more referenceable longer term. So we started with that, and then we added some of our own new content, like the glossary of terms.
Yep.
So we just took and we did all our own definitions. We just took all the words we could think of that are related to fountain pens and did definitions.
And you can probably tell by the number of typos that I did in there that I did it all myself.
Yeah, normally I review it. I did not.
I think I corrected everything that people emailed and said I made mistakes, but a couple of my favorite ones were under blotter or blotting paper. I said, that it's meant to increase the dry time instead of decrease the dry time.
Yeah.
And I also said, what was it? Something about, I think it was under brassing. It was when, the metal plating wears away. Instead of saying to expose the brass underneath, I said to explode the brass underneath. So that one was the funniest, I think. But
and then we also added the common online abbreviations, especially if you're involved in the Fountain Pen Network or other places.
That was something that I honestly thought already existed. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go and find it, and we can add to it. And I was like, there's nothing out there. I found some posts where people had compiled some of them, but there's really no like one go-to place to understand. Especially if you're new. That's really what it's for. If you're new to forums in general, or if you're new to fountain pen terminology, what does, what do all these abbreviations mean? Some of them you can figure out, others not so much. And I remember when I was new to the Fountain Pen Network, people were throwing around terms, and I was always like, what does this mean? Even not fountain pen related ones, but, IMHO means in my humble opinion.
Or honest.
Or honest opinion. Yeah, just things like that. It's like, that's all, forum talk.
CC, cartridge converter, little things like that. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So, please let us know if we're missing things, because we just thought of everything we could, but you guys offer so many different perspectives, whether you've been doing this for a month or for 10 years or more or less or whatever. We want to hear from you, so we can bring, we want to create a one-stop shop, a tool that is helpful for people no matter where they're starting in their fountain pen journey.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes with all the reviews and the comparisons. We're going to keep adding to it. Everything we have is just what we had on the blog readily available. And so a lot of those videos you've probably seen before if you followed the blog for a while. Some of them may be new. We don't expect everyone to read every post every day.
Right.
So, but we're very excited about it.
Yeah, it's really shaped up well. It's really turned into kind of what we had envisioned, and it's actually kind of a little better than I envisioned in some ways. So, oops, we got some spit up.
Sorry, guys.
That's how it goes. But no, we want this. Oh, sorry, what?
I was going to say, so why can't I see anything? Try refreshing your page. If you could type that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Spit up here.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. So anyway, the main point was to do exactly what Rachel just said, to create a place where you can go as a new person, or that you can send someone who asks you about fountain pens. You can say, oh, go to the Fountain of Knowledge. That will get you educated to the point where you'll know what's going on with fountain pens. And that was really the goal.
And the nice thing about having it on our site, we can do, we do all this work for you, with no expectation of anything in return. But we are going to work on embedding links to buy our products. So if you're reading about ink syringes and how to use it, then we'll have a link to, buy the ink syringes. Or
sure.
If it's a pen review or ink, of course. And of course, there's
we're a little more comfortable doing that on our own website than we are on the blog, because the point of the blog is not to drive sales, if you will. It's to educate. But because of the convenience of having everything on our website, we're not afraid to put links in there just to make it more convenient to navigate. And if you're curious about a certain pen, you can just click on the link. It'll take you there, and it has all the description and pictures and everything. So it's an education tool. Without you even have to buy anything, you can still cruise it and use our whole site for educating yourself.
That's part of the value add that we try to provide as a company, though, is the free education that goes along with the products, along with the pictures and the videos and everything else we do.
Exactly.
Which is probably a good segue into talking about our website, unless you want to talk about Fountain Pen 101 first.
Well, yeah, let's lead into Fountain Pen 101 first. The Fountain Pen, a while ago, very early on, I did a Fountain Pen 101 video where I just kind of, and the video quality is not that great, and it was a while ago, and my videos are much more refined now than they were back then. But the main point was, if you don't know anything about fountain pens, here's a video to just kind of show you what you're getting into and what to expect. So what I intend to do with Fountain Pen 101 is actually to create an entire series of videos. So that literally we can take someone who doesn't know anything about fountain pens. You can watch this whole series to your heart's delight and educate yourself in all different areas of fountain pen usage in terms of, learning how they work, what the internal components are, the importance of the paper and the ink,
how to fill your pen, how to change out the ink,
how to maintain your pen,
a cartridge,
exactly, what to look for if you're shopping for a pen,
basics,
exactly. So that basically we want it to be that anyone can go to this place and educate themselves in one place. Like there are resources like, various blogs that are pretty good. The Fountain Pen Network is a great place, but the Fountain Pen Network is really kind of getting thrown into the deep end if you're a new person. It's kind of like, going to a rock concert and trying to hold a conversation with somebody. There's just like random things going on all over the place, and it takes a while to kind of learn what's up. So we thought we've got a huge, massive knowledge about fountain pens. We've got a huge resource of videos and things that we've already put together. We have the production capacity, and time is probably the only thing we don't really have, but we'll make the time to be able to put this series together to really benefit people who want to learn about fountain pens but just don't really know where to get started. That's what we want Fountain Pen 101 to be. So that's a project we're going to be working on. It's going to be a more in-depth project than some of the videos I've done before.
A little more
polished, more cuts, more,
less rambling.
Yeah, less rambling. It's going to be a little more scripted, if you will, but still very natural. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything too scripted, but it's going to try to be very concise and very education-based. So if you have any ideas, this is where I really want some feedback. Shoot me an email at brian@gouletpens.com. I really want to know the important things that you guys think should be included in a Fountain Pen 101 type series where...
More Joseph.
Oh, well.
Yeah?
We could incorporate more Joseph in there.
He could be our what not to do.
Oh, he could definitely serve that area for a lot of areas, yeah. So really what we want to do is get the best questions that we possibly can, because sometimes we tend to forget a little bit what it's like to be brand new at doing all this. I mean, it's still not, it's we haven't forgotten it all. It's still somewhat fresh in our minds, but there are questions every now and then that come up that are like, oh yeah, I can't believe that we take that for granted.
Every time we hire a new employee who's never used fountain pens before, we go through all the same
yeah, it's true,
teaching them about everything.
Hi. So
she likes watching you talk.
Yeah, well, good, because you'll see lots of it. She's just looking at me. Hi, hey, baby girl. Hi. What?
There's a smile.
Oh, big smiles! Yay! It warms my heart. Okay.
All right. You said you like our ramblings. There you go.
It's great to put ideas in the chat here, but honestly, I need them in an email because the chat only saves for so long and then it'll be gone. And I'm trying to make somewhat mental notes now, but I'll forget most of what's being typed here. So if you have some
difference in calligraphy pen ink and fountain pen ink,
that is very important.
Oh, I found some ink. Bless you.
Yeah.
I found some ink at my Hobby Lobby. Can I use it in my pen?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I get that a lot. So okay, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'll be looking to put that together. That's been an ongoing project. It's actually been several weeks. I've been kind of planning and mapping out Fountain Pen 101, and it's going to be many videos that I'll break down.
It'll be like a tutorial, so you can skip to a section that interests you, or watch all the way through if you want the whole shebang.
Exactly. So
it'll be definitely sequential and build upon itself. So
yep.
It has to be well planned out.
So that will be Fountain Pen 101. So I will be looking to gather information. Maybe I'll post some stuff on the blog and try and get some comments and stuff. Excuse me. And we'll try and get some ideas about good stuff to include. Because I want this to really be a good resource. I'm essentially kind of donating a lot of my time to doing this project. For really, I mean, obviously there's some benefit if you end up shopping with us, and that's what I hope, that we can help you out. But
we're just trying to promote the hobby.
Even still, there is such a starvation of good information for people new to fountain pens, and there's no way that fountain pens as a hobby, as a community, is gonna grow unless somebody's out there educating new people, and that's really what's driving us to do this. So that is Fountain Pen 101 and the Fountain of Knowledge. Do you want to lead into some of the website changes?
Yeah. So we're currently working with a graphic designer. We're going to be doing a major overhaul of our site in the next, probably the next 2 months. It should be done sometime in April. A lot of the functionality isn't going to change, but it's going to have a facelift of sorts. In preparation for that, we're kind of making small changes along the way. It's okay. We made some changes to the navigation, and I've already gotten some mixed feedback, and honestly, we're not totally feeling it either, so we may go back to the way it was. But currently on our site, you'll notice there's like a shop by brand and shop by product, and you can kind of go into it that way. My logic was, if you're new and you don't exactly know what brand you're looking for, you can go under, I'm going to look for fountain pens, and then, kind of then filter down and figure out what you want. But, hey, it's okay. But, sure. But to be honest, we have so many different brands, and, it's overwhelming. You go to the drop down and it's so long, and that isn't easy to use. It's just not as intuitive when you go to our website, what we carry. So it's probably better for new people in some ways, but I think we could kind of go back to what we did, but do more of a compromise. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of talking out loud as I'm thinking this. We'll go back, we'll have the writing instruments, the ink, the notebooks, and the accessories. We'll still have everything by brand. And then I'm going to do a better job to emphasize. I already had this before, but like shop all notebooks. And then you can do by binding or by paper type or by size. Same with fountain pens. Do like shop all fountain pens. And then to be able to filter down and search for what you want. So I think I'll do kind of a combination. But I'll spend, I think I'm going to go back to the way it was. So I'm not going to go over that too much. But what you will...
Can we get people's feedback about... What we don't want to do is, we just made this change recently. We don't want to change it. We don't want to change it back just because we're getting feedback that people haven't gotten used to it. If it really is going to be better in the long term, we really want to know, honestly, what you guys think about the new navigation, about having shop by brand and product instead of...
That's exactly what I was thinking. The shop all notebooks, etc., should be at the top instead of the bottom. It was at the bottom before, but I think because it was at the bottom, most people didn't know it was there, and I never really got any good feedback that people were using it. And I felt, well, this is a good tool. I want people to be able to, especially if you don't know exactly what brand you're looking for or what specific product. You're like, well, I want a piston fill pen around $50. What are my options? You may have heard of Twisby, but you might not know what else we offer that would be in, comparable. Mm-hmm. So I think we could come to a compromise. But yeah, exactly. I want your guys' feedback. I don't want to just change something like you said just because you're not used to it. I'd only want to change it back if you really don't like the new navigation. I don't like a lot of scrolling. I don't like a lot of clicks. I want you, if you know exactly what you're looking for, I want it to be easy for you. And I want it, if you don't know what you're looking for, I want it to be easy for you.
Yeah, it's becoming exponentially more difficult for us to keep the site easily navigable as we continually grow and expand and offer new tools and offer new products.
Get new people into the hobby.
It gets increasingly harder to keep it easy to navigate. And I think that, some of the feedback that we had gotten before is that we had done a pretty good job of doing that already. We were just trying to one-up ourselves, and we're not 100% sure if what we did is better or worse. I think maybe it's been too soon to tell, and, we just kind of need some feedback.
Well, one thing I do want to show everyone, and if you're able to follow along, that'd be awesome. But if you go to our site and you go to Shop by Product and say you select fountain pens, Shop by Product and go to fountain pens, you'll notice at the top now there are some drop downs by price, by brand, by filling mechanism, by nib size. And this is a work in progress, but this is what I was kind of mentioning, like if you know generally what you're looking for, to be able to filter down and show you similar items or if you can't remember what exactly it is. So like if you wanted, cartridge converter pens, you can select that, and then it only shows you those. And maybe I want an extra fine nib. So then it narrows down and shows you all of those options by price. You can do it that way too. So I want everything over $60. So it shows you all of the cartridge converter pens that come in extra fine that are above $60. So it narrows down your results. I also did the same with ink. Similar to the swap shop by color, I classified all the bottles by color. So if you go to bottled fountain pen ink, or if you go to any brand of ink, you'll now see a find by color, and you can say, like, okay, say I want blue-black ink. It'll filter down and show you all of the blue-black bottled ink we offer. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not going to be sorted in hue like we have in the swap shop, which I need to update, but it is somewhat helpful. Can I put her in the swing? Yeah. So that will probably keep either way. But I just want your guys' feedback on our navigation. I want it to be, this is your site. You guys are the ones shopping, so, let me know what you think. Send me an email here.
Or you can post comments right now.
Any chance you could have a big text box on the home page where you can search by various keywords and it auto-completes? Auto-completes, that's something good. We do have a search feature to the right of our header. Yeah, it does. I don't know if it has an autocomplete, but I'll look into that. That's a good idea. You said the new system is not nearly as user-friendly as it used to be. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Okay. So any other feedback before we move on? So like I said, we're thinking about going back to old navigation, but I want your feedback either way.
Well, a modified version of the old navigation.
Yeah.
Maybe looking to make some tweaks.
More of an emphasis on those search features.
And you'll have to forgive us. You'll hear Ellie crying for a few minutes in the back here.
Yeah. jQuery. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving the outlet close to new. Yeah. That I'm going to make some changes to. New arrivals coming soon, the outlet, different things like that. I'm going to put them back where they were together. Baby swings are a wonderful thing. Yeah, once she falls asleep.
She'll protest for a while. We apologize for everybody who's having to listen to crying in the background if it bothers you. It seems kind of silly to have new arrivals menu with only one option in it.
Yeah, the new arrivals, then there's like a subsection of coming soon because I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. So I'm going to fix that. I'm not crazy about that either. New arrivals has doomed me.
Absinthe ink and Zeppelin ink. Yeah, they're pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot coming soon as well, or deatrimentus orders on the way somewhere across the ocean right now. So a lot of new colors coming in. We're going to have 200, I think, unique deatrimentus colors once everything arrives, which brings us to like 634, 639 total ink colors. So, yeah, a lot of ink. Yeah. All the more reason it gets more and more difficult to arrange our site that's easy to use. And again, I have to update the swab shop. I'm a little behind there. All the, is it possible to group all the customer reviews of each pen together regardless of nib size? It's something I have to manually do, but I'm going to try to do it on a more regular basis. I went through recently.
You did it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was like early January.
Oh.
So, yeah, she's still awake. She's just looking around.
Looking around.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to work on. Grouping all the reviews, especially, or like safaris that like the color really isn't.
There's no way to automatically do it because how would the computer system know if somebody's talking specifically about a certain nib in their review or if they're talking just in general about the pen? It's something we have to manually go through and sort out. So it is a manual process, and we can't really get around that. Otherwise you'd have people talking about their extra fine nib is, not whatever.
That's not really
in
relevant
abroad,
for
Yeah. So it's that's tough. But let's see, what else?
Being able to search on features like steel nib or pigmented ink. Yeah, and that's the other thing too is ink. I want to get into the different properties, waterproof or not, which outside of Noodler's is hard because no one publishes that information. And even Noodler's, there's still controversy over certain things, even though we've published a chart.
A lot of this, the sorting part is not so much the hardest thing. It's just the gathering the data, the raw information about these products. That's what's so time consuming is sorting it all out. Just like when we did our comparison tool, coming up with easily comparable features on every single pen and every single notebook and everything, so you can have a comparison tool. The raw data that you need to support that is pretty immense.
Yeah.
So,
but things like steel or gold nib or things like that, those are definitely things we could add.
Yeah, that's kind of on our list, is to come up with a better database almost of inks and all their properties. And it's obviously we got 600 some inks. It's overwhelming for you guys. It's overwhelming for us too. So we're trying to figure out and make it more logical. It is a continuous improvement. So we're always looking on that. But it is hard because a lot of times, we don't get any more information about an ink than you guys do. Like the Magic Unicorn ink, when it came in. We didn't know what color it was. We didn't know what scent it was.
No, and folks are asking me too about like the different Yeah, there's all the people links coming in. I think I know what color they are, but some of them, like, the website doesn't say, so I really don't know what color it is. Or what scent. What does the unicorn smell like? Like, well, I don't, like, I'm smelling it here, and I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
So like, that's where the samples come in,
That's why we offer samples, yeah.
Said maybe make it open source, have the public sort out the data. You know, we tried a wiki, like a year and some ago?
We beta tested a wiki.
But,
and it could work, but the you still got to sort out the information. How do you know that, look at the fountain pen network. Not everything on there you can exactly take as truth.
Well, even like ink, someone who, I've had people complain, this new, there's bulletproof ink doesn't seem to be waterproof. It's washing right off. It's like, well, they didn't let it dry all the way, or different paper. Like people talk about, I want a high shading ink. Well, it depends what paper you're using too, because if it's really absorbent, it's gonna make it a lot more flat than something that it's or even dry times. So
yeah, and plus if we made it open source, it would be easy for our competitors to steal it too. That kind of stuff happens. It's been happening more as we've noticed.
FTN bickering is more eternal than eternal links. Yeah, it depends on the pen, depends how you hold it, depends on everything else. So
yeah.
Someone said, there are very few retailers that are so dedicated to educating their customers. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Well, we appreciate that you see that, and we thank you for that. It's a two-way street, You guys educate us. We're allowed to, and we use that to help other people. And the more educated you are, you're going to make better purchase decisions, and it just helps everybody. Said some colors are weird. You got frankincense, it's gray. You would have expected a warm yellowish brown. I think we have a swab of that. I believe it's gray. You couldn't smell the frankincense. Interesting. Some of the scents are very subtle, and some are very strong. Some of them smell dead on, and some are like, well, I kind of get the essence of where they're going, but
Yeah.
Like the orange is like, yeah, that's orange.
Well, and a lot of the scented inks too, you can smell them in the bottle, but you can't smell them on the paper. Like maybe you can smell them while you're writing, but don't expect that you're going to send a letter and whoever opens it up is going to smell whatever you wrote with. That's not what scented inks are all about. Even if you're only
getting like a 2 ml sample of it, you're still going to definitely smell it, but it's not going to be as strong as smelling a whole bottle of it at once.
Yeah.
Is there a deatramentus ink with a pumpkin scent? I don't believe so.
Oh, you knew it was going to be gray when you bought it. It just wouldn't have been your choice.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's other ones like that too, that the scent and the color don't seem to match.
There's some that are just like really different than what I thought they would be. And that's honestly, that's part of why we were excited to get Deatramentus, is because there were like no color swatches anywhere.
Not at all.
And it was like very sparse reviews. And we knew that it would be such a great addition to the swab shop, because it would literally be the first time a lot of these colors would be shown online worldwide. So that's why we wanted to get all these out. So absolutely. It is interesting.
I want to make sure I got all that. Someone said above, the new Maquis is nice but a bit pricey. How does it compare to the classic Viscontis, etc.? Oh, did you want to mention, since you finally nib tested all the Maquis?
Yeah.
What you found?
I've never used any Viscontis, so I can't compare it to that. But I can say I was really impressed with the way that those Maquis write.
And these are the platinum Maquis we're talking about. The modern Maquis series.
The modern Maquis and the new Kanazawa leaf, the gold leaf.
Which we found out we're the first people in the country to carry. And actually, as of right now, we're still the only people in the country that got them, because there were such a few amount brought in. And when I ordered them, I didn't know that. Yeah, we
kind of had perfect timing, and it was kind of convenient that I happened to be testing my macro photography with those pens. I didn't know that they were so limited at the time. I was
the Kanazawa leaf. They were just released worldwide beginning of February, and I think there were so few brought into the U.S. and we got almost all of them right away. We didn't even know it.
But don't buy any right now, because I still need to take more pictures.
No, don't say that.
No, seriously, I don't want to have them all gone.
Don't tell people not to buy them. That's stupid.
No, I need to take more pictures. I just got new camera equipment.
No, you just need to do it tomorrow, and then we'll ship them out in the afternoon.
Oh, darn. I'll just have to do it tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, they write pretty darn amazing. I would say they're almost on par with the Namiki Falcon in terms of how soft the nibs are. There's quite a bit of flexibility, and I do not throw the word flex around lightly.
Are they 14 karat?
They're 18 karat.
18. Huh.
Mm-hmm. They're 18 karat. They're quite soft. They're very smooth, and especially the fine nib has quite a bit of line variation. So, we have them up in the nib nook, don't we?
Yep. The nib nook is
go
updated.
Check out,
I finally got the 1911s in there too.
Go check out the Platinum Modern Mach-E. You can see I didn't do it so much in the actual writing of the name of the pen, just because I was so tight on space. I didn't have the room.
It's pretty squished.
Yeah, especially that Kanazawa leaf. Everything was like really squished. But when I do the X's and the swoopy things, you can really see that flex coming out. So those are something I'm gonna. It's on my to-do list, which is 1,000,000 miles long, of videos that I want to do. But I want to do videos of these Platinum Modern Mach-E's because they really write so phenomenally.
And I think for what you're getting, the price is not only spot on. It's probably, I'd say, is a good value. You're getting, part of it is machine, but a lot of it is the Mach-E, which is very labor intensive.
I can appreciate it.
They're beautiful. You have gold nibs, which have that a little bit of.
Well, for a pen with an 18-karat gold nib, especially a soft nib.
Oh, the price difference between 192 or 144. The 144 are the modern Mach-E series.
Mm-hmm.
The 192, these are the new ones, the Kanazawa leaf. They have gold leaf applied, which I'll have to link to a video on it.
It's just a little more elaborate process,
more
handwork.
Very labor intensive.
Gold
leaf is like, what is it, like 1,000th of a...
It's really thin.
Really thin.
Yeah. I actually, in my pen making days, remember I had gotten some gold leaf and I did sizing and I did some. I mean, it's not an easy technique, and I never got anywhere near good at it.
No.
But I can definitely appreciate the technique because I did try it myself back in the day.
So the price difference is you're paying for the labor of the art, the technique. The handmade aspect to it.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
And
they're
both
pretty
have
cool
the gold
pens.
nib, so.
And they're very light too. Even though they're metal, they're very light. So if you like lighter pens, a little bit thinner, lighter pens, they're really, really cool pens. I'm so excited to have them, especially when they photograph so well. They're just gorgeous pens. I've been having a blast with them. But
someone else asked, will there be an ink
sorry, Grote. By the way, you're probably not alone in that. You may have kind of been intrigued by it before, but now we're really selling you hard on these pens. But, it's honestly, it's the kind of thing that every now and then I come across a pen that just really is so unique to me, because we look at all kinds of pens all the time.
Oh, you're talking about
this one really sticks out.
The Radiant Dragon Mach-E. Yeah, we've sold quite a few of those this last week, which, by the way, as a side note, there are more coming in from Japan, so we don't have them like in our shop, which... Normally, we never sell what we don't have, but I think with appropriate disclaimers, we can.
And the fact that it's limited.
With the agreement with our distributor, knowing, okay, I've sold this one, we can get it. So they're very, very limited. But they are still available, and those are like totally full-on hand Mach-E, and that's why the quantities are so limited.
Deal. Yeah.
And that's where the price comes in.
And they're cool. I can't wait till they come back in because I want to take even better photography of those pens specifically. I was kind of rushed when I did it before, but oh my gosh, those pens are so gorgeous, and it's the kind of Mach-E where it's like raised. So I don't even know how they do that, honestly. I really don't know.
Research.
It's really just a cool effect and something that you don't get unless you pretty much pay out the nose for it. But
there's one other question. Will there be an ink sample bundle of high shading inks? It's on our to-do list.
Yep.
We have a full list of sample packages and product packages we're going to put together. We're just going over our to-do list right before the broadcast, and trying to get those pounded out in the next couple weeks. Yeah. So I can't make any promises as to when. I just have to go through all the inks, and shading is hard because there are some that like we know for sure, like Black Swan or Apache Sunset, things like that. But others there's just so many to choose from. Yeah. So we'll have to figure that out.
We have a lot of big plans. We have a lot of big ideas. I mean, this.
We have so many we can't tell you about. We're so excited.
Oh, yeah.
This whole year is just going to be innovation, 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 innovation.
Yeah. We want to just completely set the bar so high that no one else even bothers to try.
That's the goal.
We love the pens and we love all the stuff so much. But even more than that, we love just innovating and creating new things and doing things that no one else has done before, especially in online retail and specifically related to fountain pens. So, you know, I know you guys really appreciate it. And honestly, we appreciate, sorry for Ellie, by the way, and we really appreciate you guys supporting us and helping our business, you know, obviously, because that's how we pay our bills, you know, so that's good. And that's a very essential part of what goes on. And we will do our best to keep the retailing aspect of what we do top notch as well. But as a whole other aside to that, we want to just innovate and come up with tools that no one else has done before.
Yeah, don't worry about us stretching ourselves. We have a... Yeah.
Well, she kind of forces us to take it easy sometimes. And in fact...
no, what I was going to say is now that we have a staff, you know, to help us run the daily operations, getting all the packages out, it frees us up to do the innovation that we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Take it over, girl.
We're going to talk about Edison's and ink drop.
She's fussing. She always fusses before she goes to sleep. Okay. I can kind of take over here. Let's see here. Edison's and ink drop. Okay, well, the ink drop theme, which ink drop is launching tomorrow. It's going out tomorrow. The ink drop theme is spring cleaning. And what spring cleaning is all about is, especially here in Right Time, you guys had mentioned, or we had thrown out the idea before of having some of our, you know, talking about some of our worst selling inks or some of the least popular inks or whatever. And, you know, some people threw out that it'd be a great idea to do it for ink drop. Now, well, you know, we pulled our numbers and we looked at all of our true worst selling inks, and some of them were worst selling for a reason because they were just no good, you know, but there were some that were among the very worst selling inks. I'll say probably among the worst 30 colors out of the 600 and some that we have, that we felt were either kind of, you know, just overshadowed by other colors that were very similar, you know, maybe underrated, just not known about. And so, you know, there were some interesting reasons why we thought that they may not be great sellers. So we tried to give you the best worst selling, best of the worst.
And a little surprise.
Yeah, and an extra little surprise in there too. So I'm really curious to see what people start guessing. I'm sure there's threads popping up on Fountain Pen Network.
I haven't seen one yet.
Not yet? Okay. I'm sure they'll come up soon. Maybe you guys can go start some. But, I'm really curious to see what you guys are anticipating as some of the worst some. And some of them are like, you know, oh, okay, that makes sense. And some of them are like, oh, really? That one? I wouldn't have thought that would have been a great seller, but I wouldn't have thought it would have been the worst, you know? So it's very interesting to see. So... but anyway, so those will be going out tomorrow, and you should get them in the next couple of days longer if you're international. We're sorry about that. But is it too late to get something added to that order? To what order? Email orders@gouletpens.com if you want to change anything. If you haven't
gotten a shipping confirmation, it's not too late.
Yeah, if you've got a shipping confirmation, it's gone. If you haven't gotten a shipping confirmation, there's still hope. So. So it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how this, you know, it's things like this, like, you know, it's a big risk sending out, you know, unpopular colors in an ink drop. It's like, gosh, are we going to lose half our membership this month? Because everybody's
I doubt we're going to get anyone who's like, oh man, I already had all 5 of these colors.
Yeah, probably not. So it'll be interesting. I'm very curious to see how well it's received. You know, we did, what was it? We did something before where we didn't think it was going to do well and ended up being really popular. Oh, the highlighters. Yeah. Last June we did,
July.
Or it was July, right. Last July we did,
August.
Was it Summer Nights or something like that? I forget what it was called. Flashlight Tag. That's what it was. We did Flashlight Tag, and we gave out 4 fluorescent, you know, highlighter inks with a highlighter.
One of them was invisible.
Oh yeah, the Blue Ghost. That's right. And a UV light and a highlighter pen. And we had no idea how that would be received. And it was a big hit. So, you know, we're trying to just push the envelope and keep Ink Drop interesting and, you know, make it fun for everybody. So hopefully it pays off. So anyway, let's see here. Oh, Edison. Okay, well, speaking of FPN, Fountain Pen Network, for anybody that's not aware of that, it's a good forum where you can go and talk all about fountain pens all day long. But anyway, you know, we're pretty tight with Brian Gray and Andrea and, you know, the Edison crew. And the idea kind of popped up about doing an Edison Pen Company group buy on the Fountain Pen Network. It popped up maybe a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was getting excited about the prospect of doing a group buy, buying an Edison pen that would normally be a custom pen. I think everybody was kind of settling on the Pearl, the Edison Pearl. With a clip, and purchasing a whole bunch of them to try to get them at a discount. Well, Brian Gray's done that before, and he's orchestrated that, on several different forums and had, some moderate success with it. And he was open to the idea of doing it here, but, some just crazy things started popping up in the thread, and it started looking like, this thing was just going to go all over the place. And, we talked to Brian on the phone. We said, hey, look, this thing's going on over there. And, we kind of let him know what our threats were, and he's shared with us that in past group buys, it's been a logistical nightmare. Just because, if you think about, these pens might cost $160 or $170 or whatever. If you got 50 or 100 people buying in on these things, that's a lot of money to move around, and for somebody to orchestrate all that, it's a lot of time and logistics, and, it takes a lot of coordination, and especially if you want to get it at a discount, for Brian Gray's sake, it's got to be easy for him to coordinate and get the materials and timelines and everybody choosing stuff, and it's really interesting. So you're asking what's a group buy? A group buy is basically where a bunch of people get together on a forum, decide on one thing to buy, and contact whoever makes it to try to get it at a group discount, basically. That's a group buy. So
we should add it to our...
Oh yeah, we should add that to our, it's not really an abbreviation, but it's a forum term.
Yeah.
Maybe we could add it to our definitions. I don't know. So anyway, the idea came up, and it looked like there was enough interest to where this thing could actually happen, but we saw that this thing was not going to happen because Brian would not be able to handle the logistics with everything else, all the shows. He's starting into his show season, and he's going to be traveling, and he's already backlogged like 6 weeks or something on his custom production. So it's the kind of thing that if the logistics weren't able to run smoothly, this group buy would not happen. So that's where our name had kind of gotten thrown in there, and we kind of popped up, and we were kind of watching the thread, and so we talked to Brian on the phone, and we saw what was going on in the thread, and we said, hey, here's maybe what we can do to help out. We've got the website, we've got the order processing logistics and the payment processing and all that stuff in place. We obviously have the capacity to ship and organize all that stuff. If we take care of that logistics for you, obviously we'll get a little bit of the cut to make it worth our while. But, is that something that could make this thing, possible from Edison's standpoint? And the answer was yes. And so now it appears that as long as there is enough interest in getting a certain number of pens, which I think was 35, mm-hmm. As long as there's 35 people that can commit to it, then it's worth the time to design the pen and go all the back and forth and do the effort to make it happen. Then it's worth it for Brian, it's worth it for us, and everybody will still be able to get a custom pen at a discount. And it is kind of a everybody wins kind of thing. So as long as enough people get in there, then it's going to happen. So that's
he's going to offer some material choices next week.
Okay, so he's gonna post some pictures of materials that he can get in the right quantities and stuff like that in the timeline that he needs for production of these pens. So it's not going to be an FPN official affiliated pen. It's not going to have an FPN logo or anything, I don't believe. So it's really just an FPN organized group buy. So that's kind of where we came in, and that's kind of where we stand. We're not really looking to, gouge anybody by any means. It's more just like this thing was going to happen, and Brian couldn't handle it, and it wasn't going to happen unless we could kind of step in and help out. And we're very able to do that.
Since it's going to be, what he said, 1 to 3 months till they would be done. Try to figure out a way that you can still combine with shipping and buy other things, but since the pen won't be ready, we still have to figure out the logistics on our end.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
But a lot of people like to, buy multiple things at once to save the shipping. So, well, more details to come on that. We just need to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe we'll have it where if you buy the pen with the other stuff,
we'll ship the pen for free
we'll
later.
Ship all that. We'll ship all the stuff to you, and we'll ship you the pen later at no charge, kind of thing.
Unless you're outside the country, then maybe we'll do a discount or something
we'll have to
like
figure
that
out. So anyway,
or offer a free bottle of ink or something with it. We'll see.
That's kind of where it stands right now. So if you are interested in an Edison Pearl, go head over to FPN, and there's a post in Market Watch that Brian started, and you can check that out. So anyway, just wanted to kind of cover from our end what that was all about, in case you had heard about it or were curious.
And then someone asked about the new Edison Nouveau. Prototype is designed. We have several materials that we've narrowed it down to. We're still doing some more prototypes of those materials to decide what we want. And then there's some clip issues that we're waiting on. Remember? Clip, wink, wink. As well as some nib things going on. So once we're looking at his worst case, like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So that puts us like probably April. I know we said like January then February, but it'll be worth the wait, I promise. In the meantime, I believe he's working on another production model, which we may see before then. But our new Edison Nouveau, which we won't release anything about yet.
We're gonna make you wait a little bit. There's some aspects to this pen that Brian's never done before, so
the clip.
we're kind of having to feel it out as we go, and we don't want to release it prematurely and not do it right. We're gonna take the time, and we're gonna wait, and we're gonna make it right. And we feel that way, and Brian feels that way, and that's just how we're gonna do it. So if it gets delayed, then so be it. You know, we're just gonna wait until the pen is all good and ready and perfect, and then we'll launch it. So more will be coming on that, but it's not going to be like next week or even 2 or 3 weeks from now. It's going to be a little bit down the road. So
that's
there's plenty of other exciting stuff coming along the way in the meantime.
I bet you guys are wondering what's up. You guys keep mentioning the VAC 700s and things like that. The VAC 700 was originally supposed to be out end of the month, and it became early March. Now the latest is mid to late March. So just want to keep you updated there. Those are for the colored VAC 700s. The clear are going to follow sometime in the spring. There will not be italic nibs right away. Those will probably show up, I'm going to guess, closer to the end of the year.
They said later this year, which means
probably
who knows?
end of the year.
Who knows?
Because it's a whole different nib than the 540, so they've got to manufacture those separately.
Yeah.
So we got the clear 540s in last week. We still have all sizes except the italics. The italics sold out quickly, of course, because the quantities were still not what they needed to be.
And they're pretty awesome.
They are awesome, and that's why they sold out so well. So this timeline is colored 540s should be here next week or so. So if you wanted the smoke or the blue or the amber, those will be here next week. And more of the clear italics should be here with the VAC 700s towards the end of March. So that's the timeline on the TWSBIs. There are no other dates released for any of the other pens. So the Mini, the Micarta, the 550 or whatever, just anything like that. But we'll let you know when we know.
Got a couple of good questions here. Is it possible to have a pressurized ink chamber, or would that nearly literally explode? This would be in order to maximize ink capacity. Well, I don't know that that's ever been tried before, but if it has, it's never been released, because if you think about how a fountain pen works, for the same reason that a fountain pen will leak on an airplane, it's because the pressure differences between the pen and the outside environment. If you had a pressurized ink chamber, what would end up happening is it would become literally like a water gun that would just shoot the ink out of the pen when you go to write with it. So I don't see how that would ever work. But the way the vacuum pens work is that it does actually pressurize the chamber, before the ink is in there.
Only to the point of sucking it in.
Yeah, but what happens is and you can watch. Go look on YouTube.
Yeah, how do you compress fluids?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think now we're getting to like basic. Is physics the right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the way that the vacuum pens work, they do actually pressurize the pen, just not with the liquid in it. So it gets pressurized, and then at the last second, it kind of drops off. The pressure difference is what sucks the ink into the pen.
I'm saying I don't think you can compress liquid. It has to go somewhere.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So,
I don't know.
Anyway.
No, the answer would be no.
What is our opinion on the amber color? I assume of the 540. It's kind of like a... It's like a light
orangey.
Orange. It's not like a bright in your face orange like the Kaweco Ice Sport. It's but it's not yellow. It's kind of like a sunny orange.
Yeah,
I would say
it's a yellow orange.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, orange isn't my color. I prefer like a blue, or the smoke's cool, but
it is confusing though, because like if you think about the Pilot Custom 823,
it's called amber.
That's also
but it's
called
kinda
amber,
brown.
but it's really a brown, like a brownish yellow. So the two ambers are entirely different.
It's like a light orange.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. Again, orange isn't my color, but it doesn't turn me off.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah. We had another good question in here that we kind of skipped over. Oh, any news on the mini Twisbies?
I was just talking about those.
Oh yeah, those are. Don't even think about those.
Is it possible to take?
They're way down the line.
You skipped around the question. A Lamy All-Star nib. Oh, now it's moving to clean. Take apart a Lamy All-Star nib unit to clean. Use rouge hematite.
I'm assuming when you say nib unit, you mean take the feed out of the pen. It can be done. It's not particularly easy, and it's very easy to damage that feed.
Yeah, we've
so
done
I don't
before.
usually recommend it. Sometimes it happens accidentally when you're pulling the nib off. If the nib is kind of tight on there, we do that. We pull a lot of nibs off, and every now and then we'll get one where the feed comes with it. But the thing is, if you don't set that nib in there in the right orientation, it'll get jammed in there, and it'll destroy the feed, and the pen will be useless. So that's why we don't recommend taking out that Lamy feed. The best thing to do is just to flush and flush and flush and flush that thing.
Ammonia, yeah.
Yeah, use some ammonia, maybe a little bit of dish soap, and that will do it. Or like the JB's pen flush, which is basically what that is, and that will help to get that. Yeah, that rouge hematite is kind of tough. That's a very saturated color.
Kind of pigmented a little bit. Someone mentioned orange. Wanting to see the Pilot Custom. Yeah, the Pilot Custom 74 is coming out in orange. Probably we'll have it next week or so. I'm not exactly sure. They said March or early March, so hopefully we'll have that soon. We have it on back order, as well as some diamine colors. Those should be here very soon as well. 5 new colors. There's something someone said above.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm getting behind it here.
Oh, not Goulet pens really exactly. Anyone know when Nathan will announce his ink prize winner?
Oh, yeah, that contest.
So Noodler's had an artist contest. It ended either yesterday or today. I don't know what date exactly he put. But, yeah, I'll ask. I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm sure he's got some last-minute submissions that he's going to need to take time to...
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't have any time, period. I don't know where he's going to find time.
I think for a while there just weren't a lot of submissions, and he's like, well, all the 40 are a winner, But I think, like, towards the end, once, people got Flex pens, got Ahabs, the word started getting out a little better, he got flooded with submissions towards the end, and a lot of them are really good. I heard he said, he's having trouble kind of deciding. There's so many good ones. So I know, like, 40 people get a bottle of ink and a pen or something like that. I don't know if it's the first 40 or I think his top 40.
I think it's the top 40.
The top 40 will get some sort of prize, and then like the one winner will have one of every pen.
We'll have all that crazy
including
stuff
new stuff that he hasn't even released yet. So it'll be whatever it is in existence.
Didn't the Fountain Pen Geeks have a Twisby giveaway? Yeah, I believe they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they're currently they have a couple giveaways going on right now. So that's a wonderful.
We highly recommend checking out the Fountain Pen Geeks.
They're doing a lot of stuff we wish we had the time to do.
Yeah, it's just two guys. It's Eric Schneider and Dan Smith, and they live in different states, and they just kind of found each other, and they just love pens, and they do everything they do on that blog just purely because they love pens, which is really cool to see. And because they have very much the same philosophy that we do, that there's so much undereducation going on out there about fountain pens that just somebody needs to get out there and just talk about pens.
Yeah, they have a wonderful blog. Often we find out about new products from them before from our distributors sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check them out. They do a lot of giveaways and good podcasts and such. There's something else. Oh, like new products and stuff.
I emailed you some stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned Diamine Custom 74. There's 2 new Edelstein colors coming out. One of them is like a Edelstein Ink of the Year. And this is like they're going to do like a special color every year. It's called tourmaline. Is that right? It's kind of like a purpley pink.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a new one. It's called Tanzanite, but it's a blue-black. which, as you know, Pelican discontinued their blue black, so there's it's kind of a color missing in their line right now. Obviously, it's not going to have the same properties, but it will be a Pelican blue black. So look for those possibly this month, March. Not exactly sure when.
Is the Roshizuku Inaho more like a brown or a green? It's more of a brown. Yeah, definitely more of a brown. It's like a tan khaki. Yeah. It's like a tan or khaki brown, or a brown, yeah. It doesn't really have a lot of green to it. It's mostly tan. Yeah. Okay. So, the last thing we kind of had on our list, the Pelican M600 White Tortoise is a new pen that just came out not long ago. It's a special edition. Pelican did one a few years ago in the M400 size, which is a little bit smaller than the M600. The M600 is a piston fill pen. It's not cheap. It's a list price of what, $475. We did have somebody that wanted to special order it. That was great, and I took the opportunity while we had the pen, and I took some nice pictures of it. Just because, why not? I have all this camera stuff, and I like taking pictures, so it was a beautiful pen, and I was having fun doing it. But it kind of opened up the doors where, sort of like this Dragon Machie, where, if there's limited pens out there and, nicer pens that maybe we wouldn't stock on a speculative basis, we can certainly special order. We can special order you any Pelican, Sailor, even like Yardeled, anything that goes through any of our distribution channels, we can special order any of that stuff for you. Mm-hmm. And we do that on a somewhat regular basis. We're happy to do it. Even notebooks and stuff through Execlair, we do that. Not inks because we carry just about everything.
But 16 or 32 ounce noodlers.
We've done it with ink.
Pelican like 250 mils or things like that.
Absolutely.
Or Private Reserve cartridges, Diamond cartridges,
or
Bond cartridges.
Yeah, Pelican's got, of their 4001 line of inks, they've got some larger bottles that we don't stock regularly, but we can certainly get them. So anyway, obviously we're very accessible. We're here doing this broadcast right now, but if you are interested in anything, anything really at all, you can always email us and we'll see if we can get it.
Especially if it's a brand we already carry, then it's like no big deal.
If it's not brand we don't carry, it's a little harder because,
You never know. It could be same distributor or something like that. Like Yardeled, we don't currently carry anything through them. Yeah. But same distributor as Lamy, so it's easy for us
or even like Monograppa and Omos and Aurora. We carry all those inks. We're set up already as retailers.
It's just a lot
we just don't
of
stock
cash
their pens.
to carry everything, so we're kind of taking things gradually. We don't want to get into debt. We don't want to overstretch ourselves.
Right.
So we don't want to follow the path of other retailers we've seen.
And we don't want to expand so fast that we don't even know what we carry anymore. We're kind of like, accelerating as fast as we can without getting to that point, but we want to still keep it manageable for us to be able to know what the heck is going on.
Mont Blanc is something we can't get and we won't get and probably never will until they change their ways.
Mont Blanc's got some crazy rules about how the retailers operate.
First of all, they require you to have a storefront, which we don't have, so that's out. But I won't get into it now, but we have no immediate plans to carry Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc is the one that we can't get.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Everything else, Visconti's one that we need to look into.
Yeah, we can explore that. Maybe we'll meet up with them at the DC Pen Show or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
But anyway, so we're gonna put the Pelican M600 White Tortoise up there, especially because I already got great pictures. There. Oh, it is. Okay, so
we sold one today.
So you can check out the beautiful pictures on there. we're definitely open to carrying more of the nicer pens. The problem is that they cost a lot of money, and we could really send our business into the red if we started stocking everything and didn't sell it. So we're having to be very smart about what we carry, and obviously the way that we've grown this business from the beginning has been to see what you guys want and then begin to carry that and not get into stuff that no one's interested in buying from us. So
Bexley is one we've actually talked to them. And we just haven't pulled the trigger yet, but it is someone we've talked to and we've looked at, and we just haven't taken the plunge yet.
Yeah, Bexley's one that we get interest every now and then.
It hasn't been so overwhelming that it's like a no-brainer, but
Bexley is on our radar, but we've never really...
And we've made the connections.
Yeah. I mean, we could start selling Bexley tomorrow if we wanted to. It's just a matter of, again, is the demand there for us to make that investment?
Is that the right use of our money or whatever?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a booth at DC? The answer is no. However, okay, we'd love some feedback from you guys. Okay, so here's our story with pen shows. First of all, we don't go to anything besides DC because we have, as you know, a baby and a toddler, a small business, a website to run, and it's just the logistics. It's not going to happen. All of last year I was pregnant, and now with the baby, it's just it can't happen. DC is one we can do because we are 2 hours away, less than 2 hours, and my parents are 20 minutes from the show, so we have help with the kids and a place to stay and everything. It's a day trip. It's easy. In 2010, well, you first attended in 2009. That's what started this whole adventure of learning about fountain pens.
That was the rabbit hole.
And real quick, when and where's the next pen show on the East Coast? This weekend in Baltimore. I know that much.
Yep, there you go. Get ready.
Then there's more other places. I don't know offhand.
Wasn't there one in Philly coming up?
I don't know when it is.
Did that already happen?
I don't know.
Did it already happen? I think Philly already happened.
That was, it was a little while ago. 2010, we did the DC show. We didn't have any pens at the time. We didn't even have Noodlers. We had like Jerbon, Diamine, Rhodia, all the paper and stuff. We had 3 tables. We had my sister help and your friend Sam. We didn't have any employees. It was just us. We kept our website up while we were there. We carted a U-Haul full of products at the show. It was okay. We did pretty well at the show, but really not much better than we did on our website at the time. But it was so much work. We had damaged products. It was exhausting.
Well, and it's not even that it was work, because obviously we're not afraid to work, but it was work that wasn't really benefiting anyone. Having to double and triple check our inventory every time we moved it somewhere.
Damaged products, stolen products.
Yeah, it was just a lot of work and not a whole lot of benefit. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of ink and paper at the show besides us. So, we were of some benefit to some people, but honestly, we got such a smooth running website right now.
Well, the story of it is, last year we went to the show. I was pregnant with Ellie. We decided not to have a booth. We just wanted to go and attend. The problem is there's so many people asking about us that they thought we were supposed to have a booth. They actually set a table for us up, and we're like, well, we don't have anything to sell. What are we supposed to do?
We were like, we don't want to sit at a table and just sit there with no sign or anything. So we just said, no table.
So we enjoyed
walked around.
We enjoyed being spectators, but walking around, there were people like, oh, I couldn't find you. I didn't know where you were. So we're trying to figure out what to do this year. We thought about getting a table just to have like a place to be, where you guys can just come and talk to us. But I don't know if that's a little pompous,
Yeah,
it's
just going to the show and getting a table to just...
Yeah, set up a laptop.
We
talked about this, setting up some computers and have like our videos going. Well, here's the thing. I would love to go, and I would love to even sell stuff, but the problem is I don't even know what we would bring. We have so many things. So many products. I don't even know what we'd bring unless we brought like some of our exclusives, like some of our Noodler's inks or our Edison Nouveaux or something like that. But even so, if we spend our time transacting, we can't really talk, and that's the benefit of the show, is getting to talk to people in person. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, obviously you shop with us online, and some people like any opportunity not to pay shipping, but shipping's minimal, and it's as minimal as we can make it. What would you guys want?
Well, I can pretty much tell you right now, we're not going to be carting product there. It's just not going to happen in pretty much any capacity, because it's too much. We can't do it. Rachel's still going to be nursing, and it's just going to be too much for us to handle. Plus, that's inventory that we'd have to take away from our website, and how would we manage that? And, I really can't see doing
Coffee and donuts and a couch at our table. I like that.
Oh, that would be cool. Let's just bring our sofa.
Don't have a table, just wear a GPS tag.
That's pretty funny.
No, well, here's what I'm thinking. There's a nice lobby area in the middle. It's actually the video of the introduction of the Edison Collier with Brian Gray. We were sitting in the lobby area. That's what the farting...
That's true. We don't even need to get a table. They have a lobby. We can just sit in the lobby.
It's free. That's what the farting chairs.
That's right. The farting chair from the Edison Collier video.
So I was thinking, maybe we'll just be like, hey, we're going to be there. Come... find us there and talk to us, because that's all we really want to do at the shows. We just want to meet and talk to people. Yeah.
We could bring some stuff. Like, I could bring my swab book of all the swabs that we've ever done,
and we could hand out free shipping coupons.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we just, buck the system. I don't feel like getting a table.
It costs money.
The thing I don't like about a table, is
we can't walk around.
Well, it's very one-sided, versus the other. We're not like presenting something. We're not salesmen. I want to just sit down and have a chat on the couch.
Yeah, we could bring a bottle of each of our exclusives.
Joseph running around and getting everything.
I don't trust the ink testing table, and I'll tell you why. I have a couple reasons.
Well, some of those bottles have been there for like 6 years.
That's one of my reasons. If you've noticed, they bring back the same bottles year after year. So first of all, they're old. You never know what's undergone formula changes.
Yeah.
The biggest reason, though, is not everyone uses good etiquette when they use pens. They end up mixing the colors, and they don't remain true. When we worked the show, we
would be interesting would be to do swabs of some of those inks at the show
and compare them to
and compare to see what they look like in real life. That would be hilarious. That would actually be pretty funny.
What happened at 2010? People would have a swab that they did over at the ink sample table, and they'd come up to us and say, "Hey, I really like this color. Do you have this?" And we'd look at it like,
and we're like,
that is not what the color looks like.
Noodler's, it would end up Noodler's blue is not supposed to be brown,
Your purples that would look brown. I mean, it wasn't like that extreme, but enough where it wasn't accurate. So like, I love the concept of the ink testing table, but I don't trust it, especially because I looked at Noodler's, and they didn't even have Bay State blue. They had a bunch of...
Well, most of what they had were Swish mix colors. They were donated by Swisher like 5 years ago. And Swisher's out of business now.
They don't even exist anymore.
So if they have Swish mix inks back this year, it's just like ridiculous.
I thought it was hilarious, though, that last year PR DC Super Violet was the color of the show. They didn't even have it at the testing table.
I know.
So...
But not to bash the DC show. They do a lot of great things, and it is the biggest show in the world. And honestly, we're not going to go and bash the ink table at the show because... I don't want to do that to DC. I don't want to break down and degrade what the show is trying to do. The ink testing table leaves little to be desired, and we're very anal when it comes to ink and colors and stuff. So we're, overly critical. But anyway, it's a great show, and I think that we'll definitely look to figure something out.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be there. It's just deciding what capacity. We talked about like getting a table next to Brian Gray's table. Like kind of joining on and, because, we're friends with them and getting to hang out there. But honestly, the farting sofa, the farting chairs are probably more comfortable.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring some of our exclusives to, some inks or whatever for people to try out. Maybe we'll donate a bottle to the table. Who knows? But we'll bring our book of swabs. I think that would actually be the best use is you'd get to see everything in person. For free. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hand out free shipping coupons. How about that? It's like getting it in person.
Well, what else could we bring that would be a benefit?
We'll get it later on. You can go home and order right online, and then by the time you get home, maybe your products will be there because we'll have a staff that's running the shop while we're gone. That'd be pretty cool. You don't have to carry it with you in your travels. It'll just be delivered right to your home.
Yeah.
So that's one idea. What else? Was there anything else on the list of topics? It's already past 10.
Yeah, we should get going.
So, yeah, we could bring one of each of Brian's pens for people to... I
don't know about that. We'll see.
Well, I was thinking, like, we could bring our, like, Edison Nouveaux for people to see because Brian Gray doesn't...
Oh, one of each of Brian Gray's. I was like, I got, like, a pretty big collection. I don't want to bring them all and
but Brian Gray does not sell his production pens at the show. Sorry, I was getting distracted by the chat. Like he doesn't sell the premieres or our new.
Well, he does have them at the show. You can test them out.
He does have a premiere.
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. Yeah, if not, I think he has them with him. You can ask him to see them and stuff. So yeah. But.
Yeah, you mentioned Deatramentus spelling whiskey without the E. I thought it didn't have an E, and when I typed online, it gave me a spell check error. So I was like, okay, well, add the E. But Deatramentus, here's the thing with them. They're a German company, and most of their inks are in German. For us, they do their labels on all the bottles in English, which is wonderful because we don't speak German and we don't know how to translate stuff. However, there are some kooky spellings that come in.
Yeah.
Raspberry didn't have a P and, just little things like that. So we always make the debate, do I spell it the way it should or do I spell it the way it says on the bottle? So whiskey is another one, but Scotch whiskey has no E. Okay, that's good to know. I will update our website. I appreciate the feedback. So, okay. Well, bottom line, we'll wrap up here, unless there are any pressing questions. But again, please give us your feedback on our website, on the navigation specifically, as well as on the Fountain of Knowledge, Fountain Pen 101. But especially that navigation, because that's something, if it's really frustrating people and it's preventing them from having a good experience or wanting to come back or telling people, I want to fix that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the Diatrements famous personings, we didn't get all of them. I asked kind of on FPN, Facebook, Twitter, what people wanted, and I kind of started with those. But I expect eventually, probably by the end of the year, we'll end up with all 330 some colors they carry.
Probably.
It's just
we're not afraid. We're not afraid to carry a lot of inks.
Just tell us if there's a specific color you want, which I know is hard. There are no swabs. If it's something you've either bought elsewhere, have heard about, or you're just curious about, let me know, and I'll just put it on our next order. I have no problem doing that. So.
Yep.
So email us, brian@gouletpens.com, or Rachel. RACHEL.
Please email us. We're dying for feedback about the navigation because, we really want to get this thing tuned and working nicely. So.
Any hints as to the colors of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart? I think if you go to the product page itself, I have it in the description, and if I don't, it's because I don't know. So. All the information I had was what was on the Diatrements' website. So if it's said on the website, then I included it, and if not, I didn't. So that's that. And once they come in, we'll do our swabs and samples, and there you go.
Yep.
So to summarize, give us feedback on our website. More changes are coming. Facelift coming in the next couple weeks. March ink drop theme is spring cleaning. And
look forward.
Lots of other new stuff, Twisbees, all that sort of stuff coming soon.
Look forward to lots of cool new pictures coming.
Yeah.
Because I'm having a blast with photography. And I'll probably be talking more about photography too. I've got some updates as to equipment and stuff that I've gotten that I like to talk about. So look for some of that stuff on the blog for all you photog nerds out there like me.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you guys for a great broadcast. We had a good time. We appreciate you showing up and giving us part of your evening. As always, you can email us or, post on the blog afterwards tomorrow if you have any questions or anything. And
maybe by, who knows, by the time folks who are listening to the recording hear this, we may have already changed the navigation. Who knows?
Oh, that's very distinctly possible. Yeah.
Either way, give us feedback.
We like to change things quickly if you didn't notice. We like to act quickly on things, I should say.
Make up our mind and go. Bing, bang, bong.
So that said, I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.
Recording.